Welcome to episode 31. I have a special guest today in house with me, Rizwan Mohiuddin, a comedian out of Edmonton. We sit down, we talk around, the racial divide that's happening, comedy. We talk all sorts of cool topics. He's a really wicked guy. It's a great listen, and I hope that you enjoy it. Just a quick reminder, you can find our clothing at dangercats.tv. If you use the code podcast69, you'll receive 15% off your order. Also, DCTV, new episode of 9 Lives is now up and ready to stream. You can watch that at watchdctv.com. That's right. All sorts of great content on there, and I hope you enjoy the episode. Welcome back, Danger Cats, to another episode of the Danger Cats podcast. I got a special guest in house today again with me, Rizwan, local comedian from Edmonton.
Hey, yo, what's good, man?
I'm not even going to attempt to say your last name because I don't want to butcher it.
All good, man. Mohiuddin.
There we go.
Even I have trouble with it sometimes.
Yeah, right. And the last thing you need is a cracker attempting it.
You can do your best, man.
Hey, it's all about the effort.
White people have some crazy-ass names.
Yeah, I guess I like mine. Mine's a little out there, too. Is black ear, black queer.
Yeah.
So
black queer.
Black queer.
Bringing
Yeah.
black queer in the building.
Yeah.
Nice.
I hate it. Just trying to break the racial divide with my last name. That's all.
Definitely. What is it, like French Canadian or something?
Yeah, it is actually. And I'm not we're not even French. My grandpa just took it when he was in a foster care when he was younger because his stepdad or something like that was abusive, and they gave him his last name, and then he resorted back to his I don't know. There's some funky story there, but we're Irish, but we got a French last name.
He just picked it out,
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, he's like, I think I like this one better than O'Whalen.
Nice. You don't want to get typecast as an Irish person.
Exactly.
You don't want people to know.
Exactly.
Yeah. But if you would choose French Canadian over Irish, I mean, that's These days, yeah.
Yeah, these days. Maybe back in the day it was different.
Yeah. A lot of people claim to be Irish and stuff.
Especially around St. Patrick's Day, am I right?
Yeah.
Everybody's fucking, I'm like 10% Irish.
Yeah.
Kiss me.
Oh my god. It's mostly girls. Yeah.
It is, 100%. You didn't wear green, I'm gonna pinch you. Will you fuck off, please?
Yeah. St. Patrick's Day.
So how long have you been doing comedy then for?
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
What made you get into it? What was the deciding factor, I guess, to ask?
I mean, the main thing is you need something to do as a person.
Yeah.
You do school and you get home, and if you're not hanging out with people, what are you gonna do with your life?
I guess, yeah.
Video games are fun and all, but it's better to just do anything.
Yeah.
Anything that's a skill. So just even if you put a bunch of skills on a dartboard,
yeah,
just picked one at random, threw a dart at it, it's better to do anything. If you're gonna have 2-3 extra hours in a day,
right,
you might as well put that time into something. So that's how I started doing stand-up.
Right on.
I was always goofing off in my classes that I'm paying for in university, doing these presentations. My business law class, I would give these wild-ass presentations about divorce law and just yell about people breaking up and shit.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I might as well just go do this on stage.
So I guess then you basically had some experience to an extent, and I guess it is a form of comedy if you're getting up there and doing your presentation with some humor behind it, if you're looking at it that way, I guess, right?
Yeah, just being a goof.
Yeah.
I'm just a dumb person.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Yeah. Fuck yeah. I don't mind taking life not too serious.
Yeah, man.
You gotta have fun.
I feel like people, they're afraid to say things and just afraid to be dumb.
Yeah.
And then they feel like they gotta act smart. and like I'm all decently intelligent, but like I also know how dumb I am. Like, I do a lot of dumb things all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like being on stage and just being a goof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen you a couple of times, and your sets were like definitely in the funnier parts, and it was like a couple amateur nights, and you must have been working out some material. I'm guessing at amateur night. Is that how you go about it?
You use like all the shows during the week to work out your like club sets and stuff. And you just go there to have fun.
Yeah.
Because if I'm doing like 7-8 shows in a week, I gotta like keep it interesting for myself. So I'm not doing the same 5 every night. I'm going up and doing something new.
Right on.
Having fun.
Yeah. Who would you say is like a big inspiration with your comedy? Like who would you who's your Mount Rushmore of comedy, stand-up comics, would you say?
First Elmo, then Ellen, Cat Williams, Craig Ferguson, and there's this crazy local guy named Mike Dambra. He grew up in Rochester, New York, and he lives in Edmonton, Alberta for some reason. He's like this old dude. He just goes crazy. He doesn't even do material. He just yells at the crowd.
Really?
Yeah, he's the funniest person. He's the best.
And just kind of off the cuff stuff, or is this like written? Or
it's off the cuff. He's just a wild, crazy man.
Really?
He's this old white New York dude who lives in Edmonton and he's just mad all the time.
Oh yeah, that New York attitude just spews right out of him.
Yeah.
Man, they're a different breed out there. I don't know what it is, but like I watched a video where this guy was trying to jump in front of a train and basically commit suicide. But then like New Yorkers were yelling at him like, you ain't gonna ruin my day and hold up the bus, man. I gotta get to work, man. Do that shit on your own time. And like their attitude out there is just so fucking crazy.
It's just an inconvenience at that point.
Yeah.
I have friends in London, they tell me about that. Like,
really?
Oh shit, I'm late for work. Another person killed himself.
Really?
Oh, lame. Yeah.
Wow.
It's just too common.
That's insane.
And that sucks. Like, you're gonna kill yourself, make everybody late for work.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it like a normal person.
Yeah. In the garage or something.
Yeah, carbon monoxide. Easier ways. I guess in London it's harder to have a car.
I guess, yeah, especially like how expensive shit is over there, and like Christ, dude, I can only imagine. What do they pay for like a ridiculous amount in fuel over there, don't they?
Probably, yeah.
Like it's like something just stupid per gallon. It was like 4 pounds a gallon or something like that.
Yeah.
That's worth almost a Google here after.
Yeah, it's expensive. Everything over there is expensive.
Oh fuck yeah.
Even I don't just to kill yourself.
Yeah, a bullet's like $3,000.
Yeah. You have to go to the subway and stuff.
Yeah, and the gun laws are so strict you can't even go find a gun.
I think it's like the proximity. Like in New York, and like Japan and a lot of these places, like everybody's so tightly packed together that people just have more of an attitude.
Yeah.
Like, because you gotta have that boundary. If somebody's too close to you, you gotta be like, hey,
fuck off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here we got like a whole backyard and you got all this space. I think that's why people say Canadians are more polite. I think it's because of the proximity. We just have more space.
That's a good
just
take.
A little bit more chill.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, because like anywhere in Edmonton, you're 20 minutes, 25 minutes away from just being in the country.
Yeah. I thought you were about to say you're 20 minutes from just another person.
Oh, yeah.
Practically. Sometimes
pretty much.
I feel that way, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, I agree.
Dude, like at University of Alberta, like if you're there after 4 p.m., you pretty much just have a whole building to yourself.
Really?
Yeah. And I was just taught that way, like, oh, I just have a whole building. I can skateboard up and down these halls.
And nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, smoke weed in the building.
Have you done that?
Yes. That's how I got my degree.
Well, hey, stay high for the test, you get high results. Isn't that was my motto in high school?
Truly. I'll tell you this.
What's that?
I'll tell you this, and then I'll let you say what you're going to say.
Yeah.
In my first year of university, calculus was the hardest class.
Yeah.
I went into the river valley and I smoked a joint. Then I went to class, and that was the first time in the whole semester I actually understood it.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Like implicit differentiation. I was like, dude, I get it now. I just had to be high. So you started smoking weed in high school, you were going to say, or?
Oh, yeah. No, I tried that theory to test in high school, and it didn't really work out in my favor. So I'm glad that I met somebody. Now we're at 50% ratio or 50% win rate, I guess.
Do you smoke weed?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I do. I think there's more benefits to it than any other plant on the planet, personally.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like I got my grandpa on the CBD pills, and like his inflammation in his ankles have went down. His elbows feel like he can like he can walk again. He was like telling me he gets like those, you know, when you get like the tingle and like that sharp feels like pins and needles in you.
Yeah.
He had it in his foot for like 2 years, and then I started giving him CBD pills, and fuck, it took it right away.
Man.
So like if it works for him, then why shouldn't I just take it now and try and beat the curve?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you take like the CBD oil or what?
Yeah, I was taking the oil, just the drops underneath the tongue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does that get you high?
No, it doesn't get you high or nothing like that, but it you can definitely feel it different when you're like, especially like when your body's aching and all that, and like, you know, when you get like those aches and pains in your bones, it kind of like takes that away.
Yeah.
It's like a high grade aspirin.
Okay.
Yeah, without all the defects from, you know, like the if you overuse it, your guts are gonna fucking rot and all that.
Yeah, like it's weird because there's like so much medicine you can take and stuff.
Mhm.
Might as well just take weed.
Exactly.
Yeah, THC and stuff.
It seems that, and like for the small amount of testing that we've had on it, it seems to be the answer for a lot of fucking questions we've been asking for the past 20 years.
When did you start smoking weed?
Probably like I think I smoked my first joint when I was 13.
Yeah.
And it was we were out skateboarding out at my buddy's farm, and his brother came out and he had a doobie, and he's like, "Hey, you little fucks, come over here," and like made us smoke it with him. And then it was
He
like,
made you like it.
it was like, yeah,
You're
guys
not a pussy.
Yeah, you want to be a fag? Are you a fag, man? Like back in the day when it was like that, like skateboarding was hardcore, and I was like, okay, yeah.
Right.
So then I just like started blazing then, and then after that it was just like, now I kind of just smoke to sleep. Like at the end of the day, it's like that relax thing. So I like, instead of just smoking all day, or if I'm doing something like that involves art or like thinking or trying to put a twist on it, getting a different mindset.
Yeah, it gets you creative and stuff.
Yeah, big
I find
time.
weed keeps me up.
Does
like,
it?
I smoke it at night.
Yeah.
And then my mind's just going. I'm like thinking of all this random stuff. I start writing and
Yeah.
I'm just up.
Do you find a lot of your creative ideas for your comedy come from marijuana?
A decent amount.
Yeah?
Yeah. I like to get high and then go on stage. That's always fun.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be scared as fuck. Like, how do you feel up there?
It's scary, like the first couple times I did it.
Yeah.
Like even for like UFC fighters, you'll like see they talk about training at high altitude.
Yeah.
So they'll go to a mountain where like the higher up you are in altitude, the less oxygen there is and the harder your lungs have to work.
Yeah.
So you train at high altitude. So
For
when
sure.
you come to a UFC fight in Las Vegas, you're closer to sea level and it's like, oh, I can breathe super easy. I'm used to training up in the mountains.
Yeah.
So I think about that in comedy, like I'm training at high altitude because I'm high as shit. I can see every single face in the audience, every little movement, every little twitch.
Yeah.
And it's a sensory overload. And if I can do it there, then I can do comedy anywhere.
Hey, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I guess, like, yeah.
It gets fun, man. I'll be like, I'll have like my timer on stage.
Yeah.
And, like I'll got high before the show, and then I just start doing comedy, and I just start talking some random shit.
Yeah.
That I didn't even think about. And then I look at my timer, and it's been like 25 minutes. Everybody's laughing, everybody's rolling, and I'm just a goof.
Yeah.
I think about that in comedy. Like I like to be on stage and kind of have it like I'm just hanging out with everybody.
Yeah.
Like it's not so much I'm on a stage in front of everybody. I'm just here. This is me.
Yeah.
How is it if we were smoking weed in like Buddy's car in the parking lot at McDonald's, or if I'm on a stage and everybody has like nachos, their chicken wings, and their beers, and they're all hanging out.
Yeah.
I like to just be like in the room with people.
Yeah,
'Cause that's
in the moment. Hey,
exactly. Like live comedy is different. Why wouldn't somebody just stay home and watch it on Netflix? Because it's on a screen. I want like really you're live. The value there is I'm actually with you. I'm actually like we're all feeling the same things. We're all thinking the same things.
Yeah.
And I'm like cueing off of you. If I see somebody like doing something dumb, I'll call them out. If I see somebody on their phone, I'll call them out. I'll make fun of them in front of their friends and shit. and that's what's like live.
That's what makes it good.
Yeah, and then if you're high, it's just
10 times better. Yeah, a little sugar on top.
Yeah, I remember in Vancouver, like I did dabs,
yeah,
like the oil shit, and they got the whole fucking rig there,
yeah,
with
it looks,
the blowtorch.
Looks like you're about to like smoke something out of space or some shit, hey?
Yeah, some outer space meth.
Yeah.
You do that shit, and all of a sudden, like the whole city's like glistening like a crystal elf city.
Yeah, you're watching your face melt.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's like doing shrooms. Have you ever done shrooms?
I have, yeah.
Dude, doing shrooms because
It's
like you
just-
think you're melting into the couch or some shit.
Yeah, and then you can't, like, your emotions are just like everywhere, like something in you, like the sensory overload you're talking. That was like the first time I did them. I've only done them once, I guess, my first and last time.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was fucking. I would do them again. I definitely fucking agree with them. Like a lot of people.
Okay, you liked it then.
Yeah,
a lot
it
of
was-
people do it once and they're like, I
I-
freaked out or something.
Yeah, you do them too?
Yeah, now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like shrooms and stuff. I like psychedelics. I don't do them often enough
Yeah.
because I'm always so busy. Like, I feel like, in my opinion, you need like a day to kind of like contribute to that whole thing.
Yeah.
Cause like I like to use it just to like, you know, form my thinking and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people will do like LSD or shrooms and they'll freak out.
Yeah.
But like I feel like being able to do drugs and psychedelics, it's like a skill unto itself.
Oh, boo! Fuck yeah. Man, like, well, look at like my favorite band on the planet is Motley Crue. They had one of the greatest rock and roll careers, and I don't think half of them, like, some of their best memories are forgotten. They're gone. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? The crazy shit that they got into, and they did everything. Like, could you imagine back in the 80s just getting fucked up and like?
Oh
just-
yeah, I hear the stories about them.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Dude, a lot of these rappers, Eminem talks about he doesn't remember a lot of times in the studio because
yeah.
he was on all these drugs and MDMA and all this shit.
Fucking Oxycontin just drooling on yourself.
Yo,
and-
Chris Brown, what happens to him these days, he parties hard all the time.
Yeah.
And when he's in the club and shit and he's just like dosed out,
Mhm.
his bodyguards, what their job is, they always go over to him every like couple minutes to check his pulse.
Really?
Yeah, they just gotta go check up on him. Okay, he's still alive, leave him.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of these people, they get fuckered just on the next level.
Man, that's almost like your crew sucks if you're like that. Like, there's going and having fun, but when you're like dead in a chair and everybody's just like, as
Sure.
long as he is alive so I can get paid.
Yeah, yeah. You think they might try to be like, hey, you have an issue, man.
Yeah, like, homie, you need to clean up, man. Like, you probably got like 5 years left on your radar here, and like, I don't know what I'm gonna do after these 5 years. I'm being selfish over you, but I want you healthy so I can get paid.
Yeah.
You know?
Is he still alive?
Yeah, is he still alive?
Check his pockets too. Check his pulse and check his pockets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if he's dead, let's rob him.
Yeah. They talk about that. Like Mike Tyson was saying how like if he had a suit,
Yeah.
people would literally get into fist fights to take it to the dry cleaners, like his assistants.
Yeah.
Because he would just be so fucked, like he would forget like 20 grand cash in one of the pockets and shit.
Really?
Yeah. All these people, they get fucked like on the next level, because like you don't have people telling you no.
Yeah. You
On
just
that
got a
level.
bunch of yes men.
Yeah, it happens to a lot of people. And
I
stuff.
could see that for sure.
Yeah.
Especially like your friends are probably like my friends and they call you out on your bullshit all the time and like, you know, like, and then you get to like that level of fame and it's almost like that nobody gives a fuck about you. They just want you. You're
a business. You're a commodity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
big time.
Like Justin Bieber's on Adderall. A lot of these people on Adderall, because you're like an economic powerhouse. Like think Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Like you're producing hundred millions of dollars of content.
Mhm.
So you're pretty much employing thousands of people.
Fuck yeah.
And if you don't show up for a concert, like that's a couple thousand people who are out of work that day.
Yeah.
So you gotta make sure that fucking kid is like on point.
Uh-huh.
You gotta give him whatever drugs to make sure he's like working.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That would suck. I don't know if I'd want that. You know?
Yeah.
Would you want to be like that level of famous?
Dude, I think about like that NSYNC video where they're like all on the strings like puppets.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it can become like that for a lot of like entertainers.
For sure.
But like it's almost like a good problem to have, because like there's a couple $100 million in the bank when you're at that point.
Yeah.
But you're also like you look at Michael Jackson late in his career, like a skeleton just dancing. And he's still dope as shit. He's dancing like a fucking, he's king of pop, but still, yo, his face is all gone. Like his last documentary, This Is It.
Yeah.
He's dancing amazingly. He's like 50 years old at that point, but he's dancing amazingly. But you can see like all the years of everything on his face. 'Cause he's not like performing. On that documentary is in his rehearsals. So it's just him.
Exactly.
All gone to shit. Just, I don't know if he's got to cash a check, if he needs this money. There's also the art part of it. It's a legit art, but damn, society can put you up on those strings like you're a puppet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you find like with your comedy, are you fucking getting censored a little bit? Like there's some clubs like, do they screen your bits or anything like that? Like if you, okay, like maybe you're being too racial here, take that out of your set or anything like that?
I get people sometimes, they're like, okay, keep it a little bit clean.
Yeah.
It's for some shows, but for the most part, I do what I want.
Yeah.
Cause like I'm not doing too much like corporate work.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get like a corporate gig and they're like, okay, it's clean comedy because fucking Susan from HR is here and shit.
Yeah.
I did some corporate gigs in Grand Prairie over the Christmas holiday. And then like this one woman was like, oh, there's, even to the comics before me, like there's too much sex talk, she like said out loud. And then I got on stage and then I roasted her for being in HR, and then everybody started clapping and shit. Cause
nice.
I guess she does that in the office a lot, so.
Oh, just like shits on people.
Oh my god, you know, that skirt's a little too short, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, all that bullshit.
Yeah.
So people appreciated it when I went like past the boundaries and stuff and called her out. You do get that stuff. I've done like university shows where people are like, you know, as far as the game of like political censorship and stand-up comedy is something that's talked about a lot.
Yeah.
I think about like Bruce Lee a lot. He always talked about like, be like water, you become the container.
Yeah.
So water's in a cup, it becomes the cup. Water's in a bowl, it becomes a bowl. Water's in the basins of the ocean, it becomes the ocean. It takes the form of whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's just, even though things are politically sensitive, you can still say ratchet ass shit, but you just gotta have finesse.
Yeah.
You gotta like catch people like, it's kind of like, it's some like a UFC fight, somebody has really thick defense.
Yeah.
Then you do like a spinning back kick and then you hit them in the side of the head where they weren't defending.
Yeah.
So you can still say the ratchet ass shit, you just gotta have finesse about it. That's where the talent, skill, and art is.
It's almost, you gotta slip through a little bit just to get your shot in, hey?
Exactly.
Okay,
like
yeah.
Political sensitivity is a thick wall of defense, especially for younger, more liberal crowds.
Yeah.
But if your point is true, truth is like implicit. Like if something is true and it's truly true,
Yeah.
people can admit to it, but you just have to know how to you have to know the right words to say and get through.
Yeah, instead of just walking up and just poof, giving it to them.
Yeah,
it's,
exactly.
How can you word this different? Okay, I see what you're
I
trying
find
to
like
say, yeah.
with more liberal crowds, my more racial material, if I'm doing like a super like white audience, I can come right out the gate and just be like, fucking fucking goat fuckers and all this shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Some crazy ass shit, and people are on board immediately. A more liberal crowd, I gotta like warm them up first and then bring them into my world.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because like if you want to like especially an all white crowd would probably be easy for a guy like you to walk in and just be like, okay, I can fucking ruin this room because like
Yeah.
all you gotta do is just pick on like one random nerdy ass white guy or the big buff guy. There's so like the racial stereotypes with white dudes and like white chicks is so out there, and you can basically look and be like, that motherfucker right there, I guarantee you he has this or has done this in his life.
Look
you know
at this roid monkey.
Yeah. Where's your white sunglasses? You bet you got a tribal tattoo, and he's just over there trying to put his hoodie on to cover it up.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. Kind of like the stuff that people want to say when people are around,
Yeah.
but like they're afraid to.
Yeah.
And then as a comedian, you're making like those observations and stuff, and having people have fun.
Exactly.
And people like to like. That's what's special about going out to a place, because you make the show about the people who are around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the audience is the show.
Yeah.
The show is for them. It's like dedicated to them. It's about them. is about that relationship. You're the guy on stage and they're the audience.
Yeah.
And like, there's something different when the show is about them. Like, it's more personal, and then it's just like I'm one of their friends hanging out with them. So that's what's different about it. So yeah, it's fun. Always everything with finesse.
Yeah. Especially, like, I hear so many horror stories about the comedians on universities and shit like that. Like, it seems like it's never ending. Like, you hop around podcast to podcast with comedians, and every time there's a university gig, it sounds like it's like they're tough. They're a lot harder.
Yeah, that is a big thing going on in comedy. Like, people are talking about that.
Yeah.
A lot of like older heads in the game, they're talking about, oh yeah, they go to a university show. I think, like, I don't know if Bill Burr specifically said this, but a Bill Burr type, like more like kind of just
out there and very blunt.
Very blunt, yeah. Some real shit comedians that are like, they're having trouble on university campuses. But I mean, like, the game always changes. Like, every 5 to 10 years, like, there's a social turn, and the social landscape is always changing, and it's changing even faster and faster these days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where those guys are failing is an opportunity for me to go to these college campuses, because I know the college language. Because I went to university. I went to the fucking seminars where they told me the 80 different gender pronouns with a serious face on their, like, with a serious look on their face. Like, it wasn't they were making fun of it. They were, I legit did like a seminar where they're like, these are the 80 pronouns. You should know them. And this is a seminar about privilege and all of these things, and they were talking about it seriously.
Yeah.
And though, like, you can criticize that, there's, like, still, like, I mean, they're a big portion of the population. Like, not just the 80 pronouns, but just, like, liberal-minded people.
Yeah.
So now I know the language. I know where they're coming from. So when I go to a university campus, I know where the sensitivity lies. I know kind of where they're coming from.
Yeah.
So where, like, a lot of older head comics, they're going to universities and just being like, oh, these kids.
Yeah.
I go there, I can still say my ratchet ass shit, but I know the little game. I know the code. I know the code better. So really, like, when I hear comics talk about that, my first reaction is just like, get your bars up. Like,
yeah, that's fair. That's a fair statement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck
it's always up to you to, like, change with the times. If you didn't change with the times, it's okay, because you'll always still have your audience.
Yeah.
You can have, like, Louis C.K. is still out there.
Yeah.
And I can talk a lot about Louis C.K., what's going on with him, but just on an overview, if he's saying some ratchet ass shit these days, you can always have your audience with the internet. You'll have your 10 million people who will still ride with
fuck
you.
yeah. And Louis C.K. is, like, one of the greats, I would say. Like, you
Definitely.
know what I mean? And like, are you probably referring to with like what he's going through right now? Like, he just finally gets back after that whole, jerking off in front of women fiasco. Comes back, finally does his first set and his first show again, and he's getting shit on because he made a couple jokes about fucking school
Parkland shit.
Parkland.
Did you listen to that?
I didn't. I read about it, so I kept a very loose mind, or my viewpoint. He's a comedian. That's his job, is to come in and make light of situations, and
Yeah.
And fuck, like, I think it's like, was there video of the actual stand-up itself?
So there's an audio recording of the whole, like, 50-minute to an hour set.
Yeah.
So yeah, Louis C.K. is interesting. Like, I mean, pretty much the best comedian in the world, top comedian in the world.
For sure.
Maybe Jerry Seinfeld earns more than him, and Russell Peters tours internationally, but Louis C.K. was kind of known as, like, the comics comic. This guy is number one.
Yeah.
Has his FX show. I love that show too. It was brilliant. And then, like, the whole jerking off in front of women thing happened, and now he's, like, making his return.
Yeah.
And the audio gets leaked, and it's like this 50-minute long set. He's just coming out swinging, like, he was making fun of Parkland and all this shit. And I just feel like it was dope. I liked it, even though some of the material, like, I felt was kind of half-baked.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, like, interesting to watch, because when you watch a Netflix special, a comedian has been working on that for 8 months, a year, sometimes even 2 years. If it's somebody's first Netflix special, they might have been working on that, like, for like 3-4 years.
Right.
Honing in all that material. You do, like, 7 shows a week, and each time you're doing it, you're doing a little bit differently to know, like, where the funny is, what's the sharpest way I can say it.
Yeah.
And then when it's finally showtime for your special, that's where it gets put up.
Right.
So for Louis, that was just him doing a set. Like, that's a middle of the week set.
Yeah.
So you're like, it's just interesting watching someone in their process doing that. Like,
And
they're like halfway through it. So they're still like, he's finessing it. And then it was just also dope to like hear an underground, like, kind of, like, you can hear buddies laughing at the table. Like, the recording is dope. I feel like that was like, as if in the 90s, just hearing an underground mixtape.
Yeah, like the old, like, I know.
Some leaked bootleg recording.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a dope. He essentially put out a comedy special for $0.
Which is, and got mass publicity on it, too. Like,
all publicity is good publicity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'll always have his audience.
Oh, for sure. And like, to judge him on his first one coming back after, now this will be his second fiasco in the past year and a half, with that whole jerking off in front of women thing, though, I think is stupid, because it was like, he asked and they all said yes. It wasn't like he was like Harvey Weinstein in these girls or anything like that. Sarah Silverman came out and was like, yeah, no, he asked if he could jerk off in front of me, and I was just like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. Some days I'd be like, no, man, you fucking weirdo, get away from me. Like, it wasn't like he's being like, I mean, that's kind of fucking weird, but hey, whatever.
There's crazier shit.
There's 10 times crazier shit, and 10 times worse shit. Like, it's not like he was like, you know, sexually harassing these women or anything like that. He was just straight up jerking off in front of them.
Yeah, there's crazier things that people can do. And to try to nail him to a cross amongst anybody, it's wasted energy. There's worse people out there.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But people give a fuck because he's good.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not good, nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
If you're talented, then people want to indict you. Then people want to tear you down.
Oh, exactly. Or any like level of fame. It seems like any level of fame, they want to chop you at the base and watch you just fall, like just timber.
And I think it's better, like, to have people in the public sphere, like these celebrities who are flawed, because we ourselves are flawed.
Yeah.
So many people have like just different things going on. Whether it's Chris Brown, domestic abuse, Floyd Mayweather, domestic abuse, Louis C.K. jerking off in front of women.
Who's the Mexican dude? Long hair, mustache, always plays like gangsters. He did time. Fuck, what's his name?
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the fucking...
He always
Breaking Bad?
Has like the gnarly scar on his...
Machete?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like him. He went to jail, I think, for armed robbery. And then got out of jail, and then... Was it armed robbery? It was something.
He did some crazy shit. Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, he was just like this gnarly Mexican dude, and then got out and then made a fucking whole career. But there's a good example. Like, nobody shits on him. He fucking...
Yeah, and I don't think they should. Like,
no, he turned his life around, but...
Yeah, there should be some capacity in society for redemption. Like, you should be able to come back. And then also, like, if you just censor people's lives and stuff... The reason why we have television, and, like, reality TV, and knowing about people's personal lives, essentially what we do... The purpose of reality TV and all entertainment is you take a person... and you put them under a microscope, and you kind of tear them apart to see what they're made out of, because that's how we relate to them.
Yeah.
So say if you're watching, say, Louis' show on FX, it's just about a middle-aged man middle-aged divorced man, his neuroses, the things that make him paranoid.
Yeah.
And you're just peeling apart the layers to get to know somebody. And people are fucked up. The more layers you peel away, you'll find out that people are fucked up.
Oh, big time.
And if you stop peeling the layers, you're essentially like not pulling these things into the public mindset.
Yeah.
Like, why are we so fascinated on Netflix to watch like Making a Murderer or any of these like murderer, stalker,
like
serial killer shows?
Yeah.
Because we're fascinated by like just the mind, how deep somebody's psychosis can go.
Fuck yeah. Like, they're making a movie of Charles Manson, like one of the fucking craziest cocksuckers to ever walk this planet.
Yeah.
And like, he's up there, like, people have like, you know what I mean? He's like a Hitler, for Christ's sakes.
Truly, yeah. He leading all these people.
Yeah.
We want to know how people work.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you ever watched on Discovery Channel, like, remember How It's Made?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like watching how they make pencils. And
Toothpicks. I watched one with toothpicks and it was interesting as all hell. I'm like, holy fuck, this is insane.
It'll be a 30-minute thing. The factory, how they're like shaving the wood
Yeah.
and just having the perfect point on the end of the thing.
Yeah.
A TV show is the same thing. You're doing how it's made on a person.
Yeah.
And I want to go deep. I want to know every single thing that makes up what a person is.
Yeah.
So to like stop short and say, oh no, that's too fucked up. Louis C.K. is saying things that are too fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear things that are more fucked up from everybody, just to know how deep human psychology goes. You're essentially doing a case study on a person. Like, if somebody did something bad, like, I like hearing jail interviews, people who killed people, people who raped people. I want to know how deep psychology goes, what makes somebody do what they do.
Yeah.
An interesting like thing that's been coming up lately is like just like they're doing psychological profiles of people who supported Nazi Germany, and you're looking at people, and I realize I'm not much different than any other regular like 24-year-old in Germany. Like, something big is going on, and I'm not that different from some young kid in Syria. His neighbor just got bombed.
Yeah.
Like, we're also similar in terms of like our psychology. So I think in the public sphere, you gotta have that freedom of speech.
And talk, when we first met, it was like, you mentioned, like, you want more, get it out in the public more.
Yeah.
Whether it's hate speech or anything like that, and just get it out there.
Truly, I was talking about like, even if it's a white supremacist rally, I would rather they do it in the streets, rather than them being in some basement by themselves where they're like festering and like, this is the way things should be, this is how I believe. I think these fucking immigrants and motherfucking Taliban, motherfucking Rizwan coming here, steal my jobs. I would rather he say it in the streets, because then it's in the public, and then he has an equal opportunity, he or her. Racists can be women too. We're in 2018. I would rather people be in public to say it, because then like you have an opportunity, you have a forum, and you have a place to be heard. Even if it's hate speech, and have a public dialogue rather than it festering like some rotten, moldy thing in a basement, because that's where things fester and like build.
Well, look at that. That's exactly how the National Socialist Party started in Germany. Just like by those little meetings in fucking all these small rooms and slowly gathering more and more people. Next thing you know, hey, there's the Holocaust.
Hey, there it is.
Hey, there it is.
There it goes. Oh, damn. We should have done something about that.
I knew that the Hitler guy was trouble. I always told the neighbor boy was a fucking bad man.
Yeah, that kid, his painting sucked. We knew it. Yeah, I think things should be in the public forum, whatever it is. Even if it's absolute insanity.
Oh yeah, and like we were talking before, I was down last weekend at Edmonton Legislative, and then there was one rally. I went to another one. I think, is it Winston Churchill? Is that Winston?
Churchill Square?
Churchill Square, yeah. And I went down there, and then you got another same thing, a political party, and Antifa's there, and it's like, whatever. They're not fucking murdering one another. Let them scream and yell back and forth. It's, you know, whether it gets media coverage or not, these people are going to go home and be like, oh, I'm exhausted.
They did something that... Even like on White Ave, I was telling you about how like there's like always that Christian preacher, you will burn in hell. Your sins. Yelling at all these white girls who are just like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, at least he has a place where he can vent that. Like, it's good as a society to have places where people can go. You know, you do stand-up shows, you know, all the time, and, you know, mostly it's like the group of comics who are like cloning their material, but then you just get like regular people from the bar or whatever, from wherever, just going up, and like they might have just gone through something in their life, whether a divorce or a breakup. They just need to vent for 5 minutes, say some crazy shit. You need that in society.
Fucking right. And like, just get it off your chest and move the fuck on, hey?
And bring it into the public dialogue. Maybe you have something we all need to talk about, like.
Or somebody in the crowd could be going through the same thing, and it's like, oh fuck, I'm not so different after all. Could help them. Like, even even with our videos that we do online, and like I know some of them get a little insane and like being like fuck Trudeau, blah blah blah, but it's just like I don't know. I playing down my thoughts and viewpoints and whatever, just playing them down a little bit and getting a little more vulgar, getting a little more, I don't know. We'll call it Alberta. Like
Alberta, yeah.
But it's like some kids I've met over the course of the summer and being like, man, I finally found something like a brand or something like a group of people I can gravitate towards, and like you helped me get through some tough times and laughing and stuff. I was like, yeah, you know what? If 5 people can just carry on and just like forget about the bullshit for 5-10 minutes and it helps them get past it, then okay, I'm doing good enough. The money isn't really.
Yeah.
Money's great and all, but that's almost a fucking better feeling.
Totally.
Not to be an emotional pussy on here.
Truth on the podcast.
Yeah. But it's like in forms of comedy too. Like you could be going through something that guy's going through. You say it, and he's like, "Oh man, fuck! I never thought of it like that."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be like the kid that, or the person that I would have looked up to as a kid.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have anybody. Like the most thing I would have like on TV is Russell Peters.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Like as far as, especially like a brown dude who grew up in Alberta, the only brown dude at fucking Warped Tour, listening to all these concerts and all shit,
Yeah.
and listen to like rock music and all this shit. Like just, man, there was nobody like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to be out there for other kids who are like me and they don't feel like they see themselves and stuff. So.
Exactly.
But even just like on the Louis bit, like as far as like sexual assault and sexual harassment goes, you know, to bring him into the public sphere, like it is a thing that men do. They do sexually harass women.
Yeah.
And at times they get too far and they sexually assault women.
Mm-hmm.
But to like vilify Louis C.K. and to demonize him, to compare him to like some monster. I mean, this is a thing that men do, and it's a thing that men have trouble with. So isn't it better to look at him as a case study of like, how could we have helped this person? What made him do this?
Yeah.
And because a lot of like his sexual harassment happened before he was like, he had made it as a comic. He
Yeah.
was just like a fucking guy, just being weird, like jerking off in the corner. What makes a person do that? Was he alone growing up? Did he have trouble having a serious relationship? Did he have troubles with intimacy? Did he have trouble connecting with people?
Yeah.
Was he perhaps sexually abused as a kid? What happened to make this man do that?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you can understand that, like, oh, maybe men have trouble being intimate with women. Maybe men have trouble expressing their sexual feelings. And if we think about it that way, then we can actually start to address how we can mitigate that behavior in the future generation.
Yeah, for sure.
So that future guys don't grow up and like, because they're having trouble getting laid, they're having trouble maybe like understanding perhaps sexual abuse in their history. If we can understand what made Louis do that, then we can prevent it in the future.
Yeah.
But if you just smack him and say he's a monster and we should never see him again, then all that future generation is just going to keep happening.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important for like Louis C.K. and examples such as him to be like, what makes a man do that? And why does he do that? And rather than vilifying him and demonizing him, understanding how as a human he got to that point, we can help other people.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, that's definitely it's a different approach. Yeah, and like, fuck, you could ruin that guy's career in the drop of a hat because of one, something he did that. He was really young when he was doing that too, wasn't he? He was like 19, 20, like what?
I think he was in his 20s, but I think he kept doing it and stuff throughout his career. But I think he started early.
Mm-hmm. And it's
like any good habit, I guess.
At least he was a gentleman and asked. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I jerk off in front of you? Would it bother you?
Yeah, always ask.
Yeah. No,
It's good to ask.
At least he's polite.
Yeah.
He's a polite man.
I think about Chris Brown too. Like, okay, yeah, when he was 19 years old, he beat the shit out of Rihanna.
Yeah.
Domestic violence is a thing that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of young men commit that act.
Yeah.
What makes them do that? Why did he do that? Rather than demonizing Chris Brown, asking what made him do that. Because then another young man who might be an abusive person at home, and like, almost like being a closeted homosexual. Somebody might be a closeted abuser.
Yeah.
And they can't just go to their friends and say, hey, I hit my wife the other day.
Yeah.
There needs to be...
What?
Yeah, what the fuck? Like, there needs to be some kind of social outlet where somebody can go and say, I have a problem, and how do we address that? Well, there needs to be some capacity in society and just like addressing the darker parts of human psychology.
Yeah.
Whether people are sexually abusive or physically abusive, there's got to be some capacity in society to like help those people.
And it seems like comedy is like that first door that you open to get through that problem, get to those problems.
Totally.
Because like a guy like you can go and like some hardships that you've went through, like a guy like Pete Davidson, his parents die in 9/11, or his dad died, sorry.
Yeah.
And he uses that as ways to make comedy, and like it's fucking dark comedy. He's also, you can look in his eyes and see like he's got a lot going on upstairs. like there's some things that he's probably got way back in the deep depths of that brain that are just like...
Pete Davidson's a subject too. Like also, cause like recently on Instagram he had this super like depressing post and people were worried about him that was like kind of like suicidal and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, cause mental health is coming up a lot too.
Yeah.
I'm getting a feeling like these days, as much as I said what I said before, it's also like fashionably suicidal.
Yeah, man.
A lot of artists are coming out these days like, I have mental health issues, and like all of a sudden they're getting all these interviews and shit. It's like a little bit fashionable to have like mental health issues these days.
And like the norm of comedy and how, or like memes and stuff like that are like, oh my god, on a scale of 1 to 10, how depressed are you?
Yeah,
like,
I see that shit all the time.
And it drives me nuts because it's like, why are we making depression almost cool? It's like you're trying to make being depressed cool, and now you're causing more people to like think they're depressed and think that I'm unhappy even though I'm in the suburbs, I have a roof over my head, I got a Louis Vuitton fucking purse, and my dad just bought me a Corvette for my 16th birthday, but I'm depressed. You don't understand me.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, bitch. You don't. I was raised by a single mom, and we were broke as fuck, but we were happy as shit. Like, we didn't have much, but we were happy. Like, fuck yeah, could we be depressed? We just didn't, like, why focus on all that bullshit when we got so much more over here?
Totally, yeah, I do see that. Like, a lot of memes, like, I got up at 12 today, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's like...
I'm so sad.
Yeah. And he's also like Pete Davidson. He's still fucking all these models. He's fine. Like,
yeah,
man. Out, bitch, shut the fuck up. You're on SNL.
Yeah.
You
exactly.
fucking millionaire, 22.
Yeah.
Shut your fucking mouth. You can still be like suicidal, and maybe especially at that point, because when you're at the top can be lonely.
Yeah.
But also, fuck you, Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
You
might get. Yeah. You might get scrutinized on Twitter for fucking a week, but guess what? You have 50 million in the bank. You can literally disappear. You could Dave Chappelle yourself over into God knows where.
Yeah, fucking Bronx, Italy.
Yeah.
Little Italy, go back.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, I think there is kind of like being fashionably suicidal these days.
Big time.
Yeah.
I do it. I make jokes about fucking, with my buddies all like, geez, like you're hungover and you're like, I should just jump off a fucking cliff or drive my car into a pole just so I can not be hungover.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Like shit like that. But it's like at the end of the day, I'm not out there, putting it and being like, oh my god, I'm sad. You need to talk to me more.
Yeah, 100 likes on Facebook. I'm pulling through this. Like, with all of your support. Sometimes I feel like people just like attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a form of attention that you can get, like, it's almost like pandering.
Yeah.
I'm making it through this, everybody support me. And mental health is real. It is real.
Yeah, for sure.
And like,
but
also...
Yeah, it seems like the people that need it the most are trying to help the people that don't need it really at all, or if barely, like they're... I don't know how to put this into words, but like they're I feel like there's spectrums almost, you know what I mean? Like there's a wide vast, and like the people that are actually very depressed, they bury that shit way deep down, and they're like more worried about you and if you're doing okay, are you happy and all this, and they don't take time to like focus on themselves and that's what fucks him up even more. Like, look at like guys like, you know, like the Chris Farleys and stuff. You would never peg that guy as being like, you know, he's sad and lonely. That guy is fucking hilarious, and his interviews were over the top. But then when you scratch through the surface a little bit and start digging and be like, okay, he masked that pretty fucking well.
Yeah.
Or like the Jim Carreys of the world. You would never, like, I would never peg him being like depressed or anything like that, you know?
Totally. Yeah. The people, a lot of times people with like, I don't want to say sincere mental health issues, because it can come in any form.
For sure.
But for many people, the people who don't say anything are the people who are suffering the most sometimes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people usurp the platform of mental health.
Yeah.
Because like it gets you interviews.
It
really does. Like
it does. Yeah.
You're a survivor. You know, you survive through so much, that depression and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It does get you headlines these days.
Yeah.
I made it through anorexia, and it's legit. But also like, yo, come on. Sometimes.
Yeah.
You can actually just pull yourself through.
There's some things that you almost got to do for yourself rather than put it in the public. If it leaks into the public and just be like, address it, you think, yeah, I overcame it, whatever. But to like come out and be like, guess what I did? And like,
yeah, I've been depressed for 8 years.
Yeah, but I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
All thanks to this product right here, CBD oil. You can buy today. Swipe up.
That is legit though, CBD oil. People should get high.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think people can pull themselves up, like, and stuff. There's like a thing with like goals. They did studies where oftentimes if you don't tell people your goals, it's better, because when you tell people about your intents and stuff, it creates this social reality as if you've already done that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose 50 pounds. And then when you tell everybody, you already feel like, oh, I've been going to the gym. If you're telling them, it creates this image in your mind as if you've already done it.
Yeah.
And there's a counter to that, like when you tell a bunch of people, it's accountability. Oh shit, I better lose the 50 pounds, otherwise I look like a bitch.
Yeah.
But there is another side of it when you tell too many people and you've already created the simulation in your mind as if you've already done it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people are always sharing like, I'm pulling through this, I'm working hard.
Yeah.
But then they become attached to depression as part of their identity, as like, I'm a battler, I'm a survivor. And people start to wonder like, who am I without this thing?
Yeah.
And they keep depression in their mind because they don't know what their identity would be without it. They almost identify with their mental health.
Yeah.
Especially for like a lot of actors and actresses like in the public hemisphere these days. If you're doing interviews about how you survive depression, you're that person. Demi Lovato is the survivor. She's the drug addict, like survivor kind of person. That's like become part of her narrative.
Yeah.
And people start to identify with mental health as like their thing. And I don't think that's healthy.
No, I agree with you on that. And I don't know, and like we're in like this whole new era too, which is super weird, and like social media is like at its height. Like everybody, like if you're like me, you're on social media more than you watch television or anything like that, and it's like now you got a platform of all these viewpoints and everything like that, and it's easily accessible. Anybody can access your thoughts, like Twitter. My fucking Twitter feed is just like, sometimes fuck, this is funny. I got fucking bladed because I made a joke, and it was like a bunch of fucking feminists and stuff like that came at me the other day because I made it. It was a tweet like, Caitlyn Jenner chopped off her dick and got an ESPY, but the guy in the Pain Olympics who cut off his got fuck all. Where's the equality? And they're like, you're making fun of trans people. Well, if we're really breaking it down to the fucking point here, they're kind of both trans if you think about it. One got an operation, one just did it himself.
Yeah.
The outcomes were different whether he wanted to be trans or not. The Pain Olympics buddy that cut his dick off, opposed to Caitlyn Jenner, how are they different?
Yeah.
It's kind of a fucking dark joke. And then she's like, well, that's not funny. There's punching down and punches in. I was like, okay, I'm going to fucking battle you at your own game here. And be like, hey, if you consider comedy a form of art, you're looking for a reaction, which I got out of you. And so at the end of the day, the joke worked.
Yeah. There is like a kind of thing, like she gets like social brownie points for like pointing her finger.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like these days, that's kind of how we're sometimes building a lot of these social hemispheres where if you call somebody out for their privilege or their aggression, their social aggression, or their microaggression, all of a sudden you're a bit of a hero. You get a social point, like +1 to you. You called out the aggressor. You called out the white man for their sin. Good for you. And like a point that's made, it's like, it's not like this social hierarchy of calling people out. It becomes this like pit of like lobsters all clawing at each other. It's not healthy because you can always point at anybody. Everybody has some kind of social aggression, like whether it's a white person, the sins of their ancestors, or if it's a brown person, the sins of the 9/11 hijackers. You always have something on you, or your privilege, like you know, me as a professional, like a dude with a professional business job. Oh, I have privilege over other people. Like there's always something you can point a finger at anybody else. So it becomes this game, like this zero-sum game.
It's like
it waters down actually like calling out the real problems in society. If everybody's a problem, what's the real problem?
Exactly. And then like where does it end? Like when does it stop? When do you there's no line right now to like, but we're also taking away words that you can't say. Like you can't, like, obviously fucking the N word is a no-go zone, like, but you know what I mean, like retard. Everybody's like you can't say retard now, blah blah blah.
Louis C.K. had a dope retard joke.
Really? Yeah. In that video?
Yeah. He's just like saying how like retarded people were like we would call them retards, and now we have to go back to them and say you're not retarded anymore. But they're like, oh, what? I don't get it though. I'm still you're still retarded, but like you're not. It was a dope joke.
It's like the Kevin Hart thing. Like, we talked about that too before when we met up, and it's like something that he tweeted 10 years ago. He lost a job because of like the Grammys or whatever the fuck it was. I never pay attention to that shit. The Oscars, yeah. And he doesn't get to go and host it because of a tweet and all this.
Yeah, like when there's 10 years ago, him saying the F word or some shit.
Yeah, and fucking all of a sudden you got, you know, how many comedians have said, you know, fag or all this on stage? Eddie Murphy comes out and like we were talking before and says, I gotta keep walking to make sure that none of the fags look at my butt. And then like, that's a hilarious joke. That's just fucking funny. If you said that now, you'd get like taken out to town hall and hung in front of everybody, and it's about time.
We got him. It's exactly that. It's public hangings that everybody's trying to do.
Except
I think it's dope that Kevin Hart's not hosting the Oscars because they asked him back.
Really?
They're like, yo, okay, we're sorry, but he was like, no, y'all treated me like a punk. Because like based off of this, because what happened was, they dug up these tweets of him saying some homophobic stuff 10 years ago. Then the Academy that manages the Oscars, they called him and they were like, we don't know if we can have you host the Oscars. There's a lot going on. And then Kevin's like, the fuck? Okay, fine. I'll leave. And then there was this backlash on the Academy, and they're like, oh, we'll have you back. For the Academy to listen to the public like that in the first place, and just to play this like social game, like, oh, we're politically sensitive, we're not going to have him. And then there's this backlash, oh, we're politically sensitive or socially sensitive, we'll have you back. Like they're punking him. He's like, I'm not going to play your little game here.
No.
Because the Academy was trying to cash in on the social brownie points. The same thing as the feminist on Twitter calling you out. The Academy was trying to be like, we're socially sensitive, we're not going to have him. Now when you have these larger institutions trying to say like, do the same thing that individual on Twitter doing, now they're using their position of power to like try to win this social brownie point game.
100%.
And it's just fucked up. It's a game. It's really a game where somebody's getting punked.
And like, I don't know. I like the 90s. The 90s, it was a good era. Everybody was just fucking hardcore. Wrestling was at its peak. You know, it was just violence was all over your television. People were saying whatever the fuck they wanted, and nobody gave a shit.
Tupac was still alive.
Biggie was still alive. The West Coast, East Coast rap battle was going on. You know, when violence was at its peak, we were all fine. We didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
it was just
yeah.
like,
If a black kid got shot in the streets, you didn't hear about it.
No.
They just dead.
Yeah.
You know better.
Yeah. Y'all want to see a dead body?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, as the more we call people out on some bullshit, the less like the real issues have their actual weight.
Yeah.
Because it's important. Racism is real. Systemic racism is real.
Fucking right.
So the more we play these games, is some bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. And like the spectrum too, and like you get like the far left and the far right, and then there's all these people in the middle that just like guys like me and you that literally don't give a fuck, and it's just like, man, it's just so stupid. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care if like a black guy or a brown or whatever, if you're this or that. If you're a fucking idiot, I think you're an idiot. But I don't look at it as a race thing or anything. But then you got this group over here being like, you're a fascist. I was like, well, no, that's incorrect. And then you got these people over here and being like, we shouldn't allow brown people into our country, and like, because they're all Muslims are gonna do is rape and murder our women and beat them in the public. And then you got, well, you're a fascist. And then everybody in the middle is just like, well, you guys just shut the fuck up. You're ruining it for everybody right now.
Yeah. But then there's also like legit issues sometimes and stuff, like just casual racism and stuff.
Yeah, like,
You know, so there are things we have to fix and call out,
yeah,
but people are taking it too far.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like inside your friend circle, there's like that, you can do the racist jokes with your buddies because you know it's your buddy. I feel like, you know what I mean? If me and you were friends for 20 years and you call me Cracker Joe or something like that, I'm gonna laugh. I think that shit's fucking funny. You know what I mean? Like,
what's up, Cracker Joe?
yeah. Where was I? I was like fucking. I was doing. There's like an indie film, and then I had like a little cameo in it here in the city, and there's a Somalian dude. I can't remember his name. Me and him were just talking, and he was like really interested in what we were doing and all this. And I was like, man, I'm just a cracker with a fucking GoPro. And he looked at me, he's like, what did you call yourself a cracker? I'm like, yeah, I am a cracker, man. It's funny. I fucking think that's the most funny racial term you can call a white guy.
It is funny.
It is. It's like, I don't know. Once you get in like I got a lot of Japanese friends, and we call each other racial shit all the time, and it's just fucking funny. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'd never go up to a random, Japanese dude and call him the same shit I call my buddy. Like, it's just like, that's where the line is. Like,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's all good. Like, to make fun of your friends, you gotta roast your fucking friends. What else are
Absolutely.
friends for?
Yeah,
you gotta
exactly.
have a fucking laugh. But there are like issues that are legit.
Yeah.
Like cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people like throw flack on that a lot of times. Like, white girls with dreadlocks. Like, what's the big deal?
yeah.
But it is also a big deal, because like what happens is a lot of times a white girl isn't facing the same oppression as like, say, a black dude who actually has dreadlocks,
Yeah.
who just got shot in the streets.
Yeah.
The thing that happens is like, oh, white girl Tracy, you get to enjoy your dreadlocks. Like, black people were subjugated in America, and now they're ghettoized and they're marginalized.
Yeah.
And they're put into these essentially human corrals.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of cattle where they're left in these ghettos. And it's hard to move up because you're surrounded by other people with issues.
Yeah.
And so, a big part of, just like their style is their dreadlocks, the way they talk, their music. And then for white people to go and be like, okay, we'll leave you in the ghettos, but we like your style. We like your dreadlocks. I'll take that. I'll take the way you talk.
I really like that song you did, Fuck the Police. It was really good.
Yeah, we'll take that. We'll bump that shit, but
Yeah.
we'll leave you in the ghettos.
Yeah.
So, and we'll leave you to still get shot and shit.
Yeah.
So that's like where people are like, cultural appropriation, that's whack. And it seems whack on the surface, but it is a legit issue where like the people of those cultures, they're still facing the oppression,
Yeah.
but people are cannibalizing the things that they like.
Yeah.
It's about like eating the soul of the person you already hurt, like
Yeah.
kicking them while they're down. Like, they're down, but yo, we like your culture, but we'll leave you on food stamps.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
there are issues like that.
The States too is such a weird place. Like, it's like I understand like the kneeling for the anthem and everything, and I had like a weird yeah, it's an issue down there, and it's pretty evident. Like, I mean, people of all races are getting shot out there, but it seems like the ones that are in the media the most and like mostly talked about. Like, look at a place like Chicago. Chicago is like a fucking, man, there's a reason they call it Chirac or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, and that's not a topic like that. That should be a major issue in the hood. Is like so many people are getting shot there.
Yeah.
And like that's where I can see where Colin Kaepernick is doing the things he's doing, is because reasonings like that. We don't really face that in Canada, so like I feel like for me to talk about that, like I've never faced that kind of adversity, so it's like why would you know what I mean? I can bring it up and talk about it, but I can't speak from the soul because I've never been racially profiled or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
where it's an interesting point you bring up.
Yeah.
It comes back to like a lot of these college kids pointing fingers.
Yeah.
It's like, do you actually know what's going on?
Exactly.
From your own personal experience? And they're always trying to like assert things about like classism or like aggression.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best place you can come from are like your personal experiences.
Exactly.
So like the things that you go through, like clean up your own life first, and then you have like somewhere to stand from.
Exactly.
To point fingers and say this is how things should be. You know?
Yeah. Did you find like growing up in Edmonton, did you face any of that kind of culture adversity or like racism or any kind of that bullshit growing up here?
Big time.
Big time,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Oh, it was huge. Yeah. Growing up, just in an all-white school.
Yeah.
Like, they're singing Christmas carols about Jesus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm Muslim. So then they would just be like, okay, you can leave. I would go to like in grade 1, they would all be in the school gymnasium singing Christmas carols. I would go to the library by myself and just sit there.
Oh, man.
And then I remember, like, it wasn't even a teacher. It was like a lunch lady.
Yeah.
She came over and yelled at me because she thought I just didn't want to sing.
Yeah.
And she was like, what are you doing? Like, because a lot of kids, they're shy, they don't want to sing. So she just thought I was doing that. And I was like, she like bullied me. Like, I'm just sitting alone. There were no teachers around. I'm just in the library. She was like, why aren't you singing?
Yeah.
Why aren't you participating with the other kids?
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing? Why are you here by yourself? And then I'm just getting grilled by this like white lunch lady. And I'm like, no, I don't know how at 6 to say I'm Muslim, I'm from a different culture, I'm not about this isn't my thing.
Yeah.
And then
You still have a developing mind, like you know what I mean? You're absorbing information, and instead of like,
I remember like my neighbor's mom asking me what type of Muslim I was, and I was like, Sunni. Like, there's different sects of Islam, like Catholic and like Catholic, Lutheranism, Orthodox,
Christianity, Mormon, that kind of like everybody believes in Jesus, but there's just like it's like here and like
different
a Venn diagram or some whatever. Yeah.
different flavors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she was like, which type of Muslim are you? I was like 8.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm Sunni. And then she was like, Osama was a Sunni. And then she just left it at that. And I'm like, I'm 8. What the fuck? What is this?
Who the fuck is Osama?
Oh, I know who he was. He's our idol. He's number 1. He's our Kanye.
Yeah.
I'm Sunni too. Damn, I didn't know he was.
Hide and seek champ, baby.
Yeah, he was good at that shit.
Yeah, he was clutch, man.
Yeah, I'll say some shit about that in a second. But like, I was like, I'm 8. What the fuck? Osama was a Sunni too, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, I would have to deal with things like at such a young age, and then also just assimilation and shit. Like, I have this happen to me a lot, even now.
Yeah.
Always with my name, Rizwan.
Yeah.
Is my full name. It means angel at the gates of heaven.
Yeah.
White people really often, they're always like, do you have something else I can call you by? I'm not gonna remember that. Like, it's not that hard. It's not that many syllables. It's 2 syllables.
Yeah.
It's not that much harder than Christopher. Fucking.
Yeah.
And they're always like, can I call you Riz? It's like, that's half my name. My name is Angel. You're calling me Just don't. You can remember it.
Yeah.
And it's like a subtle form of assimilation. People don't realize what they're doing, but they're asking you, be like us.
Yeah.
But I'm not like you. There are separate cultural differences, and call me by my full name.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I grew up where I could be like, no, don't call me Riz.
Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah,
it's fair.
this is my name. But on Osama though.
Yeah. Back to the real issue here.
Fucking champ.
Yeah.
I think about terrorism a lot. Like, the same way, like, I was talking about how Louis with Chris Brown, people who committed sexual abuse, domestic abuse.
Yeah.
For a terrorist, what drives somebody to say, I'm gonna burn the world down? Well, when your neighbor got shot by a drone, like just some bird in the sky spit some fire and your cousin's gone.
Oh, for sure, man.
Well, fuck that guy.
Oh, dude, I think about that all the time. Like I came across like some live leak footage of like the Syrian war going on, and it's like, man, put yourself in their shoes for like 1 second, just 1 second. I can see why you have the radicals and stuff. It's no different than here. Like, it's the neo-Nazis or whatever it is. Like,
yeah.
Like, you could put that in a form of terrorism too.
I could understand, like,
yeah,
for a white Canadian to feel like they're being invaded on, because white people are being demonized themselves.
Yeah.
For the sins of their ancestors.
For shit that happened thousands of years ago, you know?
Truly. But one of the problems is those problems are still going on.
Yeah.
Like, white people, in some cases, not all cases, but they still reap the rewards of marginalization.
Yeah.
Where, like, some people are still oppressed. Like, in America, black people in ghettos. Here, indigenous people and their marginalization, and how white people still are reaping the rewards of like a lot of the resource extraction. It's a difficult thing to talk about, but like white people still benefit from a lot of the sins of their ancestors.
That old oil money, and like, you know, like kind of like that Rockefeller kind of
intergenerational money.
Yeah.
Now your kids are able to go to a better college, and they're able to build these systems, and they go into government and they build these systems, they build these companies for themselves.
Right.
People hire their own. So there is that issue going on. But at the same time, to demonize white people isn't the best thing.
No.
Yeah. And that's what creates neo-Nazis. Like, what? We're not that bad. Why are everybody calling us demons and shit? Although there is some white devil shit.
There's some cracker shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like, there's a lot of like issues and stuff like that, you know, they're gonna get arose, and like the conversations just need to happen, and like
the conversation needs to happen in public.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. It
100%.
has to happen in a public space. That's why like Canada is invoking these like hate speech laws.
Yeah.
Especially they do it under the guise of Islamophobia. We don't want people to say negative things about Islam. But now who gets to judge what's hate speech or not? Now all of a sudden those neo-Nazis, they don't get to have their conversation in public. They're forced to have it in a basement.
Yeah.
If they could have stayed in public, we could have actually talked to each other.
Yeah.
And also Islamophobia. Islam has issues. Islam needs to get checked sometimes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, just like anybody else, you know, who's doing that checking is important sometimes. Is it coming from like a negative space, or is it coming from an actual intellectual, critical space? That's important.
Yeah.
But to call it all Islamophobia, anytime you criticize Islam, fuck you, that's not good. We can't codify that into law, because now you're mitigating freedom of speech.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on how Ontario is bringing in an Islamic party for?
I heard about that. I was reading about that.
I think, like, here's my take. I don't think that religion should have any say in politics, because there's so many different cultures and religions, races, all that. Not everybody, you know, whether they're going to implement their religion into politics or anything like that. I think you just got to keep it, whether it's Christianity, fucking Mormons or whatever. Keep that shit. That's what you do at home. What you do for the country is like, you got to be for the people as a whole, you know. I've not read that much into it or anything like that, but that's my take. I just think like religion is like that's a thing for home, and like whatever, you can pray in public, but fuck, I don't care. You're not bothering me by like, you know, like whether it's I don't know the proper, like when this. How many times do Muslims pray a day? Is it like?
It depends on how good of a Muslim you are.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do 5.
It's supposed to be 5. Like, and like, say you pray in public, I don't give a shit. It does not bother me. It doesn't like.
Yeah.
I'll see it and be like, oh cool. And I got, what the fuck do I got to do again? Oh yeah, I'm going to 7-Eleven and get a Powerade.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't bother me. But like when it comes to politics and stuff like that, and like.
You believe in like secular politics, the separation of church and state.
I think like I think you should get somebody in there that when it comes to politics, that's thinking about keeping money in your pocket, because like everybody works their ass off, and when you're getting taxed like 50% and all, like, but anyways, we're getting too political here, but
about the Islamic party.
Yeah.
I'll say it on Danger Cats, Sharia law in Canada. You know, I support it, man. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
This is why I'm on the podcast. I'm running for Sharia Prime Minister. Turn that minister into a caliphate. That's what I say.
Yeah.
I'm reading the comments on like that Islamic party in Ontario, and people were like, legit saying, Justin Trudeau is a secret Muslim, and I was like, damn, I didn't even know. Maybe he
is.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That would be crazy if he like comes out on TV one day
man.
and he puts on like a black mask and some
Could
shit.
you imagine? That would set the world on fire, man.
That would be so dope.
Oh man,
Justin Trudeau, I'm actually a Muslim.
You would see some chaos out of
Man,
that, big time.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
The Islamic Party in Ontario is important because like Islamic people, mosques got shot up in Canada.
Yeah.
So you need some element in the political sphere, some advocacy, because they're not gonna get elected.
No.
They're not-
Yeah, if we're being honest.
Yeah,
let's-
yeah. There's a lot of brown actually most brown people like support conservative parties.
Because they like that money.
Exactly, man. We're all about business. Like, end of the day.
Fuck yeah, man.
So a lot of brown people are more conservative minded. In America too, a lot of Mexicans are conservative minded, vote Republican because they're just like family values, original business, just kind of about that hustle.
Yeah.
So, they're not gonna get elected. I think it's valuable that they have some element of political advocacy.
Yeah.
To advocate from some sort of domain of religious equality.
Yeah.
But they all do come at from more of like a Sharia element.
Yeah.
So, if there's the freedom of speech, a far right white person can have a voice. A far right Islamic person can at least have the same voice.
Yeah,
I think.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it should be talked about.
Yeah, and as much as church and state is an ideal and secular government, Christianity is embedded deeply into
big
government
time. Yeah.
because white people made the government of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
The government of Canada was made to extract resources from Canada. That's why the Hudson's Bay Company came over here. That's why Britain formed government.
Yeah.
That's why they marginalized indigenous people and made residential schools because they were in the way. So in order to extract the resources, that's what the government was founded on, the Christian settlers. So Christianity is deeply embedded into
big time.
government. So as much as secularism is an ideal, it's not the case.
No, I agree. And it's going to take a long time to weed that kind of mentality out. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Money's my religion, brother.
Hey, make that money.
Let me get that paper.
I'm gonna get that McGregor money.
Yeah.
Make that money there.
50 fucking G's, baby.
Who the fuck is that guy?
You big UFC guy? You big MMA
Yeah,
guy?
I watch so much,
Do you?
man.
I used to fight back in the day.
Word, eh?
Yeah, I had 10 pro fights. Was it 10? And
Fuck, man.
Yeah, and like, who's your go-to guy right now? You a McGregor fan?
Yo, I like McGregor.
Yeah?
My favorite fighter, though, Nate Diaz.
Dude,
Everything
same.
Diaz, yeah.
The Diaz brothers are like, they were the original like OGs of MMA. Like,
Yeah.
they were thugs. They were the best. Like when was it Nick? No, it was Nate that had who do you have in a triangle and he's flexing on him, flipping him off.
Oh yeah, just some fucking guy. Yeah.
Just a thug. Like they're OGs, man, and it was like
starting fights in the octagon after the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that Nick Diaz. He was fighting for the title in another promotion.
wasn't it Strike Force?
Yeah, Strike Force, and then he was all like bloodied up because he has so much scar tissue because that fucking guy fights so much.
Yeah.
The doctor called it after the first round.
Yeah.
Which was some bullshit. And then he was like, "Give me a rematch. Give me a rematch, bitch."
Yeah.
And then he starts a fight like after.
Wasn't it against? It was against Jason Miller, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And then like both him and Nate and Nick Diaz, like they start this fight. There's a huge fucking brawl, and then they're like walking out of the thing, throwing gang signs and shit.
Oh man.
And they become fucking millionaires on some real shit.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
Everybody respects them.
Being real, like, do you follow him on Instagram?
Yeah, I always see their posts and stuff.
Yeah, the stories are my favorite of Nick's because he's always like smoking big doobies at like some Vegas pool party. He's got like
Yeah.
10 women around him. Like
Just fucking
he's
in the
just
club.
yeah, he's just like a thug. Like he's never drunk. Like you never see him drunk. He's just baked all the time.
Yo, he never used to drink. He's told a story he never drank until he met Ronda Rousey.
Really?
Ronda Rousey got him drinking.
Really?
Yeah. He was one of
Wow.
those guys, just like he just always was about like his grind and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like he's seen a lot of shit. Like you read stories about him. Like every day when he was like 16, he would run like miles on miles and miles, and he would run back and forth from the grave of his girlfriend who committed suicide.
Really?
And that's what he would do just each day, like it was his religion, run miles and miles.
This is his motivation, right? Yeah.
Like he was just doing laps on laps, like, and then go to the grave of his girlfriend, stand there, then run miles on miles on miles. And then,
Fuck, I didn't know that.
yeah, he had a crazy like upbringing in life. His brother, like, they talk about the reason why they got into jiu-jitsu big, because jiu-jitsu was like a lot of like professionals would do it, like business professionals, company people and stuff.
Yeah.
And Nick Diaz would kick ass, and he would know all the moves and learn super quick. So all the like people were like, yo, teach us. And he was like a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And they were like, we'll buy you food. And he was always broke, so they would buy him burritos after him and his brother.
Yeah.
So to have their dinner, they would essentially teach jiu-jitsu at 16.
Wow.
So that's how and then they just became better and better, and then the money fights start coming up, and they ain't no bitches. They're
No,
fighting.
man, they'll call out anybody. It's
Yeah.
fucking, they're in, like, they're not even entertainers. They're just real people.
Yeah, that's how they are.
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
like,
Connor comes in there talking that shit. Nate Diaz doesn't give a fuck.
no.
Conor McGregor doesn't give a fuck. Fight me, motherfucker. I'm the money fight.
No, the best is that he beat Conor McGregor training for a triathlon.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
insane. And
Dude,
just still tough, and he's calling him out, come on, motherfucker.
Yeah. They're the best, man.
I ain't fucking surprised. Like, that was...
Not your pie, motherfucker. No, they're the best, man.
Oh yeah, man. Like MMA, MMA was fucking great in like 2005 to 2000, like right before that bubble, like 2010.
Spike TV.
Yeah.
Spike TV time.
Yes.
Dude, old Spike TV Ultimate Fighter is the best shit.
Man, when
Because
the-
it would just be random fucking guys.
Oh yeah, like remember that Junie Browning, or what was his name? Junie Browning, or he was just a loose cannon. Like
Oh,
he was always pissed drunk and like fucking crying and throwing shit.
oh
and
yeah, they would put crazy people.
Oh,
just
man, you threw-
fucking some random dude from the bar would be on Ultimate Fighter versus Nate Diaz.
Yeah, it's just like, it was like still trying to figure it out from the 90s.
Yeah.
Like finally got rules in place and like, oh man, yeah, that was a crazy time. Then again, there we go, back to like that era, 1990s, the early 2000s.
Good old days.
The good old days when violence was at its peak.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we need to bring it. We just need to go out and start beating the fuck out of one another again, and then we're gonna be good.
That'll be healthy. Yeah. Start new race wars. I'm an advocate for the race wars.
Race wars?
Yeah.
Shit. I don't know if I want to be in with the white boys. Maybe like the rednecks. I could do the you know, like the ones that aren't racist but they still like hunting and all that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to be in like that group. Like not so much over here where the Nazis are, but like let's scale it down maybe about 3-4 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
Just off the basement, like still kind of riding in the middle.
Yeah.
Like
So-
small town kids.
Yeah. Rednecks and stuff.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
I grew up in Alberta. I'm from Alberta, man. So.
You know what I noticed is
Tell-
like
tell
when
me.
you were talking about like the city thing, it was like I grew up in a small town with like 7,000 people, and I went to a Catholic high school, Catholic middle or elementary school, and everything like that. But we'd always get like, you know, obviously there wasn't much ethnicities in our community, other than there was a couple, like it was white people and Japanese people, and
Huh.
then like brown dudes would like come and everybody was just like, hey, what's up, man? How are you? Like nobody really cared. It was almost, and then like a couple black kids started coming to town, and like everybody's, hey, man.
That's
like,
when it went to shit.
yeah, yeah. There goes the neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like the small town kids that I feel like. I like after hearing you talk, it was like we were a little more. We just didn't give a shit. It's like,
Yeah.
and like I feel like I've heard somebody talk about it. It's like the small town mentality is like everybody's just kind of works. It's like very blue collar. Nobody fucking cares.
Yeah. You know, I think people sometimes delude themselves.
Yeah.
And say like, yo, things are more chill than they actually are.
Yep.
Because like, from your perspective, it might seem like, yeah, you know, everybody's here and getting along, but you don't know what's going on for them as
Yeah.
well. It's really difficult for people to come in where the culture's totally different.
Oh, big time.
And there are like a lot of things that happen that brown and black people we just shrug off.
Yeah.
We don't want to start a fight. Is actually like
That's
we
fair.
move differently.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
find I move differently around white people because like even just in a store, I notice white ladies like they get
Old white ladies?
yeah, especially like if I'm like just checking something and they're too close, like I can tell. I have to like a lot of times black dudes and like brown dudes we have to effeminate ourselves
Yeah.
just to move along, just so that we're not challenging everybody. So that if somebody says some racist shit, we actually brush it off. And a lot of people think, oh, everybody's chill and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of times, black and brown dudes, we're just brushing it off. We're like,
That's fair.
I don't want to start some shit right now because I know there's only 2 of us.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, it seems like things are chill, but a lot of times we're just floating things, and it's more. There's more prejudice and stuff going on than a lot of times people know.
That's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah. No, I could get that. It's like kind of like throwing a white dude in the hood. You're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, I should not be here.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Like you're not gonna catch me like out in Crenshaw Boulevard trying to throw some high fives around. Like
I bet you would have a chill time.
I have, you know what? I feel like if your attitude is going in there, like you get those white people like you know, you see it on like social media all the time, and they'll be like, you know, some rap song, and they're like black guys like hooding out, and then like some white guy in like a button up like doing like a fancy white guy jig, like he's at a fucking white wedding.
Yeah.
And trying to like filter himself in. It's like, man, just fuck off, leave him alone. You want to hang out with the black guys, just be yourself, and don't try and like, you know,
Dude, yeah, that's the thing. Just be yourself.
just be yourself. They're gonna be like more accepting to somebody that's like fucking just being themselves. Like, hey, what's up, man? You want a beer?
Yeah, yeah. White dudes act black around me. It's weird.
Really? Yeah.
Sometimes people are like, "Hey, what's good, man?" And I'm like, "Dude,
What the fuck was that?
Yeah. Especially like really like suited up white guys are like, "Hey, what's up, brother? Hey, man."
Yeah, brother.
Dude, I love rap. I get that a lot.
I love rap, and like, I'm more of a Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of guy.
yeah, man. Weird.
Oh, that was like here's a good like I went to San Francisco with a bunch of my buddies for some baseball games, and we ended up in like a shaky neighborhood, and it was pretty hoodie in there, and we're like, oh, whatever, who gives a fuck, we're gonna go in this bar, like we're not gonna be dickheads or nothing like that, let's just go in here. And like we were getting eyeballs, like people are staring at us like, who the fuck are these guys? One of my buddies is like, I know it'll break the ice. He went and played Juicy by Biggie Smalls on the jukebox, and all of a sudden they're just like, poof, who the fuck are you guys? Oh, we're Canadians. Oh shit! All of a sudden we're like best buddies with all like these black guys and white dudes that are just hard-nosed cats out of the hood.
Nice,
They're like,
yeah.
oh yeah. We were drinking with them all night, and like that's
chill.
all it took. It was just us being ourselves and like saying stupid shit that we would say to anybody, and it was like, there, that's your social acceptance.
Yeah, I get that when I walk into bars.
Yeah.
People, I get the look.
Do
I get
ya?
the look a lot.
Like,
And
oh, what the hell?
yeah, what? Who invited him?
Yeah.
And it's a public bar, but I remember I used to be a karaoke DJ. I worked at a bar.
Yeah.
And they would make me sing if there were no singers and stuff. So I'd pick the most country songs. And
Oh,
I'm
yes.
actually like an all-right singer, and I would know white people looking like, what? How are you doing that? How are you singing that so well? But man, I remember I was in Grand Prairie, and I went to like the hotel restaurant.
Yeah.
And then there were all these white dudes sitting, and
Yeah.
then I just sat down, and the whole place went silent.
Really?
Literally, like I was a black guy in a 1950s diner.
It
It actually like
Shit.
it went silent, and I felt awkward. I was like on my phone. I ordered my meal, and then like I could feel the awkwardness, and then like I knew, so I got up and I went to the bathroom, and when I got up, people started talking again, and then when I came back and I sat down, like things went quiet again.
Yeah.
Because just, yo, people are legit racist.
Yeah, oh
They
yeah.
are.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah.
We all got racial tendencies in our
There are tensions, because
Yeah.
say they were talking some shit about like immigration and stuff, and now I'm in there,
Mhm.
and they feel awkward, and then I felt bad for them.
Hey, keep talking. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I felt bad for interrupting their racist conversation. So, you know, there are a lot of racial tensions, like legit issues that a lot of brown people, we just float
Yeah.
just because we don't want to start a fight.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Then in the same sense though, it's almost like, you know, how do we break that, I guess, is like, you know what I mean? Like, instead of like having to shelter yourself, anybody shouldn't shelter their thoughts and feelings, I don't think.
Yeah.
But like, you know, and like,
You gotta let it out.
yeah, getting to that point where you can just be like, hey, what up, boy? Or like, fucking keep talking your immigration talk. I don't care. My 38 cousins have already came
Yeah,
here.
we already made it. Yeah, man. Already done taking the job.
Yeah.
Y'all drinking
Yeah.
beers?
Yeah.
Y'all drinking beers? We don't even drink, man.
Yeah.
What are we doing with this extra time?
Exactly.
Fucking clocking hours. Yeah, man.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Dude, yeah, I think it'll take another generation.
Yeah, you can kind of see it coming.
Yeah.
Like, the younger generation is definitely a little more. They're like, you can see the acceptance,
Yeah.
and then just like,
I'm worried about white people. Because
Yeah.
white people are like in this interesting transition phase. A lot of times, like especially white girls, oh my god, Rizwan, you're Muslim, you're part of this oppressed, marginalized group. Yo, I'm more worried about white people because this is like a big transition phase.
yeah, big time.
Where like, for white people, they're having to come to recognize that a lot of this land, some fucked up shit happened to indigenous people and to black people in the States.
Mhm.
And they're having to come to recognize that their forefathers committed some sick shit.
Yeah.
And they're still benefiting from a lot of those sins. And at the same time, white people, they have this culture, but at the same time, they're trying to figure themselves out, which is why you see a lot of white girls are into yoga and all this Indian food and stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
there's no spice in white culture. We need you.
Yeah.
And white people are at this really interesting transition phase into the next generation. And I feel like there's a lot of white guilt and people feel bad about being white.
Yeah.
And now it turns the other way where a lot of white guilt is being put onto white people, and it's making people like dig in their heels like, no, fuck all of you, fuck all of you. We're here and we did what we did, but we're here now.
Yeah.
And it's making people dig in their heels, and I don't think that's the best thing to like demonize white people. So
No,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
yeah, I think white people especially, they have to be like, they have to hold their hands a little bit and be like, hey, some fucked up shit that y'all guys are doing and has been done, but hey, we can be chill.
Yeah.
White people have to just get educated about like some stuff that happened and admit to it.
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
And like, even like little things like, I don't fucking know everything in the world, and there's just some things that I don't give a shit about, like religion, for one. Like, I don't give two flying fucks about religion. I've never, like, I was baptized Catholic, and then like all that, and like, whatever. If you want to believe the things you want to believe, you go right ahead. I mean, you have all the freedom and rights to do so.
I like Catholicism too. I go to church sometimes.
Yeah, I believe, like, there's some good to take out of it, but I just like treating people how you would treat others,
And even just
like,
Jesus.
Yeah.
The story of Jesus is a really like
Oh, for
effective
sure.
story. Like a man who lives for goodness and piety.
Yep.
And he's nailed to a cross because of it.
Yeah.
And painfully. And that's like a metaphor for a lot of times a person's life, especially like a man's life. Like, you work and the sweat from your brow, like you're wearing a crown of thorns, like you're sweating, doing your work, you're a laborer.
Yep.
Or even if you're working in the office, you're just like this patch of numbers. If you're an accountant, just 9 to 8. Sometimes you're just working these numbers in this little cubicle, and you're sweating in this fucking buttoned up suit, which isn't even comfortable.
Yeah.
And nobody really pats you on the back for it. Like,
No.
you might have a girlfriend, but even she's working, or like you might not even have a girlfriend, you're alone, and you're essentially just trying to live your best life, doing your best, and you're not, there's no reward for it. You're being nailed to a cross.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, the allegory of Jesus is a really like painfully true allegory for life.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. And Christianity is a really beautiful religion. It's really great. And so there's a lot of really cool things about religion. Just the institutions degrade over time.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, like a government, over time things become corrupt. Religions, the truth and like the metaphors and the story, they hold true over thousands of generations. Like, even the Bible is a compilation of stories that have been existing since civilization itself. The story of reincarnation, like Jesus coming back.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, Lucifer, good and evil, these back to ancient Egypt and the Egyptian gods, the Greek gods.
Yeah.
These stories are repeated through history just in different forms. They hold truth. But the church itself as this institution, and you go and listen to that guy, and turns out that guy might be into some shady shit. The
Yeah.
money always goes up.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So that's where things get corrupt. But religion itself is actually, I think part of what I was talking about with like white people being in this transition,
Yeah.
I think what we're going to see in the world is a new religion come out.
Yeah.
I think it's about time, like some new sense of spirituality.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like some sort of something like more deeper, like a more connection to the earth, or like
Especially
a higher power, or like outer
connection-
space, or something like that.
A connection with science.
Yeah.
Because people are like way more educated now than they ever were.
And we
think
got
there's-
access to so much information now, which is incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think a scientific spirituality is emerging.
Yeah.
One that that doesn't sit on racial divides.
Yeah.
That is a bit more of a humanist spirituality.
Yeah.
And I think that's like coming out, especially as machine intelligence grows. It's gonna become more important to all of us. What are we? What is it that sets us different from computers? What is it about being human? And I think a new religion is about to come out.
Yeah.
That's the feeling that I'm getting.
You can kind of see it like kind of creating itself right now, because like a lot of people are, I noticed, are especially getting more of the artsy people, like they're gravitating, like obviously that spirituality is always engraved in like art and everything like that, and like when you talk to musicians and stuff like that, you see like more of the crystals in the you know what I mean, like that deeper, like your chakras and aligning yourself, and like that's like the hardcore. But then you see like I don't know, just like a connection, like you say, between science and like how you know, like how the tide affects your mood, or where the moon is, and like you know what I mean, it like that kind of
all that white girl shit.
Yeah, that is what man, that is like
there is
super. That is white girl shit, man. That's
my
like
chakras.
Yeah, I went to yoga today, and my 7th chakra feels so much better. I'm feeling great. I'm gonna take my dog to the dog park, but I'm just gonna carry it in a handbag.
Yeah, it's great for me.
Yeah.
For talking to white girls in the club, just like, yo, what's your sign? I know all about that.
Yeah. Oh, Sagittarius. We would mesh well in October.
Yeah. What's your spirit animal?
Yeah.
Let me know.
Like that kind of shit.
Let me tell you about India.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about original yoga.
Is that where your family roots come from? Is India?
My dad was from India. My mom's from Pakistan.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where that whole region.
Yeah.
Like I have a bit of Arab in me too. Yeah.
So you got like a higher power over these white girls. Yeah.
It makes for good conversation. Yeah.
You could be like, what was that Mike Myers movie where he was the fucking the love guru?
Oh
Yeah.
Man, on some racist ass shit.
Yeah, that was some racist.
Yeah, and it's like a funny joke. So if you don't know, it's like Mike Myers dressing up as an Indian dude, and like you get a lot of times these things kind of happening. The place where it becomes fucked is like as an Indian guy, like a regular Indian guy named Parminder going to the office and having to change his name to Peter.
Yeah.
And then like having to blend in, and then you know, a little Indian kid at school bringing his paratha and roti into school, and then people making fun of him at school, like, what's that weird smelly shit? Why are your food smells so weird, dude?
Yeah.
Like, and then on a big movie, a bunch of white people get to make a couple $1 million making fun of Indian people.
Yeah.
It's a funny joke. I'll laugh at the comedy, but the power dynamic is a bit fucked.
Yeah.
That's where like people are like, we can't make fun of brown people. And it's like the comedy is all good, the jokes are fine, but the power dynamic where like an Indian dude has to assimilate himself and, you know, be afraid about saying assalamu alaikum on the phone because people look at him weird.
Hey, whoa.
Whoa, what'd you say there, man?
You counting down from 10 there, brother?
Arba, itnain, do, teen.
Yeah.
What's he saying?
What the hell? You better talk Anglais up in here, brother.
Yeah.
We had a tough time with the Mexicans, let alone you brown guys. Last time I heard some shit like that, 2 towers hit the ground. Oh, fuck. Yeah, like, I don't know. But then the same kid that's making fun of you for that kind of shit, or like, you know, bringing like your traditional Indian food, their parents are like, well, what do you say there, Denise? Should we go down for some Indian cuisine tonight?
Yeah. How about some naan bread?
Yeah.
Dude, white people, the same thing, like white people treating me black, like, yo, you love rap?
Yeah,
white people,
what's side?
yo, do you like naan bread?
Yeah.
Me and my wife eat it every day, just like you.
Yeah, man.
I get that a lot, man.
Oh,
People
dude.
trying to relate to me, like making it about race off the jump.
Right off the hop.
Yeah.
I've been guilty of it so many times. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like kind of like it's just some cracker shit
Dude,
that we're on.
I grew up here, man. I love hockey.
Yeah.
My favorite hockey player, Curtis Joseph.
Yeah.
Man. I love Toronto Maple Leafs too. I'm sad as fuck. I can talk about anything.
Fuck.
But non-bread. Let's talk.
I was in grade 12 and we did this school trip over in Europe, and we were where the fuck were we? We were somewhere in like we were in an overnight train from the UK, and our train broke down. And we were all outside, and this is back when like you thought it was cool to smoke cigarettes, so we're like outside smoking cigarettes. And there's this Asian couple, it's clearly Chinese, and they were standing and like looking at the snow and everything. And my stupid ass buddy walks up, "Hey, you know snow?" Like talking like really broken English and hoping that they're gonna understand him. And the funniest shit happened. They like looked and they're like, no, we're from California. And his eyes just like got like, oh fuck, am I stupid? I assume that these guys are like fresh out of fucking Beijing, can't speak a lick of English.
Dude, man, I did that too. There was this African dude at the
Oh,
U of
man.
A, and I was at the water fountain, and it was one of those water fountains where you can fill up your bottle or you can drink at the same time.
Yeah.
And I just assumed he was like some super African guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, this one is like for filling up your water bottle. And he just looked at me and he said, I'm not stupid. And I'm like, that. I assumed he didn't know how to use a water fountain.
Fuck.
Man, I was dumb that day. Yeah. So I do that shit too sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right, on. Well, thanks, man, for coming in. That's a good hour and a half. That flew by. That was a wicked conversation.
Yeah,
thanks for
dude.
coming in, man.
Thanks
I
for having me
appreciate
on.
it. It was good. That was a good conversation. It was a good. You're the first one of 2019.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. Like, good to get you in and like shoot some shit, talk about some comedy, talk about just all sorts of shit.
Good work, man. You're doing good stuff.
Thank you. I
Everything that I'm seeing, the studio, your vids.
Thank you,
good
man.
Stuff, man.
Yeah, and like you as well is like now that we've seen you, me and the girlfriend have seen you out a few times and doing your bits and stuff like that. You were definitely one of the people, and it was all amateur comedy night, so I mean like it wasn't like a full on set, but it was still like a show, I should say, like a weekend.
Yeah, I'll invite you out to my shows. And
absolutely.
Anybody listening, you can check me out.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Drop your handles.
Yeah, my sets are at the Comedy Factory on the south side.
Yeah.
So just by 34th Avenue, you can Google that, check out.
Yeah.
You can message me. I hook you up with tickets or anything. You can follow me on Instagram. It's Blunt182. BLUNT182. Check me out.
Nice, yes. And for those that don't know, he performs in Edmonton. You can follow his comedy on your
on my Instagram.
On your Instagram.
You can add me on Facebook too. Just Rizwan. Search it up. RIZWAN.
Yeah.
MOHIUDDIN. You can search me up. Be my friend on there. I post lots of stuff on there, man.
Cool, man. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming in, and like we really appreciate it. And as always, you can follow the cats on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that bullshit at DangerCat69. You can follow me at UncleHack69 on the same platforms. And yeah, thanks again, Rizwan, for coming in, talking some comedy. We'll gladly have you back down the road. Maybe like once you getting some more shows. Me and you are actually gonna do some fucking online comedy together.
Man. For sure, man.
Do some videos and make some light of some situations. You've probably got a lot of ideas. Yeah. I got some ideas. and we'll make some comedy gold. Hopefully go viral and get famous and rich.
Yeah, man. One day at a time. We out here.
Yeah.
Actually, we're gonna build some crazy ass shit.
Yeah, man, I'm
sure.
stoked. It's gonna be a lot of fun. 2019's already looking like it's gonna be a fun year.
Good stuff, man.
Right on. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. Ciao outside, bitches. Thanks again, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you,
That was
bro.
wicked.